my channel. In today's video, we're going to be cleaning up the control arms, wire wheeling them, getting the bushings installed, getting the new tie-in rods and stuff put together, and just basically trying to get everything together so I can get it painted. And like I said in the last video, I'm not gonna record me wire wheeling the control arms and stuff, but once I get everything cleaned, I will come back to the video and start recording me putting the ball joints in. Right now, I think I'm gonna put the ball joints in before I paint it. That could change. I just don't want to scratch up the paint by trying to put the ball joints in later. So, but just like I said before, that could change. It just depends on the flow of things. So, all right, well, I'll come back to the video once I get up to the shop. Okay, so after working on these control arms all day long, it took all day to get these ball joints out, but I got them out. I got the rod out the center right there with the big ones. So, I got that done. I was getting ready to wire wheel them and realized that I have to take the bushings out of the trailing arms. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these bushings taken out of the trailing arms, and then I can clean up everything and hopefully get everything ready to paint. So that's what I'm gonna be doing now. All right, got the bushings out. They came out really easy, easier than all the other bushings I ever had on this project to come out. So since it's a little late now, I'm gonna wire wheel tomorrow, and yeah, same video, but I'll come back up here tomorrow, finish all the wire wheeling, cleaning up the chassis more and wipe it down. And in the next video, I'm gonna spray paint it. So all right, so this video was supposed to be just me taking the ball joints out, and it took as I said before, it took a lot longer to remove the ball joints out of the control arms than I initially thought. So I had a lot of that I wasn't recording, and it took a couple of days to get all the ball joints out of it. So what I'm gonna do in this video is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna clean up all the stuff. I'm not gonna show you of me wire wheeling the control arms and the frame and everything, but what I am going to do is once I get everything wire wheeled and cleaned up, I'm going to turn on the time lapse and I'm going to prime up all the parts, and we're going to actually clean the frame and paint the frame in this video. So I wasn't initially expected to do this, but because it took several days, I'm going to go ahead and do it. So let me go ahead and get started with wire wheeling the frame and cleaning up some of this stuff. And just like I said, I'll come back to the video and do a time lapse of priming everything down and painting it. All right, so we got the front control arms, or the upper control arms, I should say, wire wheeled. They look pretty good. Got to do the bottom of the lower. I was trying to get a little comfortable because this wire wheeling can take a lot of energy out of you, and I was getting comfortable and sitting down and holding the control arm with my foot, and the wire wheel caught my pants, so it ripped them up pretty bad. So that's a safety thing. Just make sure you don't have any loose clothing around when you're wire wheeling, or just don't get comfortable like I did and get it caught up in your suit. Luckily I have a suit over me because this wire wheeling leaves a lot of rust that makes you dirty, as you can see, and I have a suit on, so if not, it probably wouldn't have happened, but if it did, it probably would have caught my pants and did my pants the same way. All right, so let me get back to wire wheeling. I'm gonna go ahead and do the lower. Gotta do the lower control arms, do the rear end, and then do the trailing arms and touch up on those brackets. And that'll be it for the wire wheeling, and I can go ahead and get everything cleaned up and primed down. Control arm before, after. And it's not just the front side, it's the back side also. Alright, all 4 control arms are done. Both sides, underneath and on top. So now I have to do the trailing arms and the rear end. So once I get this part done, I'm probably gonna, the control arms got a lot of grease on them from the ball joints. So what I'm gonna do is I'm probably gonna wash them off with some degreaser and let them dry, and then come back with acetone and clean them off before I get ready to prime everything. So, all right, well, let's get to the trailing arms. All right, so the rear end is done, all wired in, wire wheel, and see the shop is a mess. So I'm gonna go ahead and start cleaning up this stuff, and then I can get back to cleaning off the parts and get them ready for primer. But I gotta get all this rust out of here first. And yeah, let me go ahead and do that. Oh, also I did the trailing arms. I got them over here. So control arms, trailing arms, rear end, frame, everything's wire wheeled now. And just like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and start cleaning up, and we can get some of this stuff washed off and wiped down. Okay, so I got this little rack, little cheap rack that I put together. It holds the control arms, and I'm just trying to get everything situated so that when I get ready to paint it, I'm not having to move stuff around and flip things all over. So that's the goal. The rack came up a little too short. You can see I would like more space in between that. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to flip them up when I get ready to do it. But sure beats laying on the ground. So the control arms, I'm gonna put cardboard up behind it so I don't spray the door. But the control arms, they're just gonna have to lean up against the cardboard when it's on the door like that, and I'll have to flip those. So I didn't take measurements of any of this, and I was hoping that the control arms actually fit in between the rack. All the control arms fit in the rack, and the trailing arms would be on each end. So, but it came up a couple of inches short on both sides. So, all right, well, let me go ahead and get this cardboard up and proceed to get this stuff cleaned off. I'm gonna have to go to the store to get some brake cleaner to clean some parts up in the frame, and the control arms had some grease on it. So I'm gonna get brake parts cleaner, spray it on it, get all that gunk and trash off, and then I'll go over everything with acetone, wipe it down, and then I'll spray the primer on it. Alright, so as you saw in the time lapse, I got everything primed down. I still got to touch up in some places. It's just the first coat of primer, but everything is done, at least with one coat. And I didn't paint the diff cover because I have a new one to go over there, to go on there. So let's say the majority of it is done. Just got to go over it and touch up in a couple of places where it's light at, and that's pretty much me. So all right, I'll come back to the video a little bit later. All right, so finished doing all the touch up on the trailing arms, control arms, and on the frame, and I'm gonna let this dry for usually about 24 hours, but I'm gonna let it dry for a couple of days. Make sure everything is all dried, and touch up as needed, and then I'll come back and I'll paint it. I primed it with spray cans because for some reason I thought it was gonna be cheaper, but I ended up buying, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They ended up taking about 7.5 cans at, I forgot what they cost, 7.5 cans at about $10 a can, I think. So end up paying about 80 bucks for it, which is it's probably about the same. Yeah, it's probably about the same, but it gave me a nice even look. And just like I said, I'm gonna come back later and paint everything. So, and I'll show you the paint that I'm using later. In this, it's still gonna be in this video. I don't think I'm gonna do a separate video. But so far, I'm happy how everything came out. Everything looks nice and clean. And I just gotta clean up the shop one more time before I actually spray it. So, see you in a few.
8 hours later.
All right, so I got the first coat on everything, rear end, control arms, trailing arms. Got to do the other side of the trailing arms. Frame is done. And the paint that I used is the tractor paint from Tractor Supply. It's the Majic paint, matte black. And this stuff here is super thick. I had to turn the pressure up on my gun to double of what I normally use. And stirring this thing, I had to stir it for a long time just to get it to work. So go ahead and close this video out. Thanks for watching. Click on that subscribe button if you haven't. Click that notification bell, and I'll see you in the next video.